What's up? What's up, everybody? Here we go. Brand new dev note for the new dimension. Everything we've been wanting to know. And yes, it is the Grim Reapers and the Howls. What have I been saying for like months now? I'm like, well, they said death-themed dungeon, so it's most likely the Grim Reaper, Grim Reaper, Grim Reaper, Grim Reaper. And also I said for a while in several videos, Howl's very high on the top of the list because for a couple reasons. Number one, they're ghosts, right? Number one, they're ghosts. Number two, I saw Les playing with them. I'm like, this makes so much sense. And they're crappy units. They all need second awakenings. So, Grim Reapers and Howls, those are the units we're getting for the new dungeon. There's other very exciting, potentially very controversial stuff. Yeah, oh, we'll get to that. Potentially controversial stuff. Let's take a look. Already the last month of 2020. Couch was like, yeah, sorry, we waited till the last minute, by the way. 2020 remembered as a special year in which we're able to grow further by improving our polishing, blah, 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 blah. We don't care about that. This dimension looks very cool, though. This dimension looks awesome. I can't wait to see what it looks like inside the dimension, because from what I can see here, I love the style, but again, I love the art style of everything that Come To Us, our team does. They're fantastic. They do a fantastic job. So, Land of the Dead filled with dark energy that has no trace of life, just like my soul. It's said that summoners can witness souls wandering on the verge of death. Fantastic. I love it already. Consists of 2 dungeons, Dimension Dungeon and Second Awakening Dungeon. New Second Awakening monsters are Howl and Grim Reaper. Again, things I've been saying for months. Entrance condition of Dimension KHALDRUN is to include monsters of each type. This is something that I have not speculated. However, I know that there are at least a couple people in the comment section that actually speculated that, what if they're going to be, it only makes sense if they're going to use monsters of different types is going to be the next condition to actually run the dungeon. So yes, this is monsters of each type, attack, defense, HP, and support to battle. Isn't that just basically three Unugamis, and then you just need an HP tank? I think that's basically all that is. Just use 3 Unugamis and an HP tank, and you're perfectly fine. You just need an HP type unit. Let's talk about the new 2A monsters. Dimension KHALDRUN Second Awakening. Please take a look at the images of the 2A Howl and Grim Reaper first. So you saw in one of those teasers, they had the number, like they had the hourglass for the Grim Reaper one, and they had the number 3 for the Howl, which we were like, oh, is it gonna be the Howls? Is it gonna be the Grim Reapers? And I was like, the Howls or the Witches. And I was like, I'm leaning on the side of the Howls, right? I'm leaning on the side of the Howls. A lot of people leaning on the side of the Howls were like, think this is gonna be, because it makes more sense for the death theme to be the Howls. So the 3 turns out that they are actually splitting into 3 units. Like they're gonna be 3 units there, and like 3 little units on the battlefield. So interesting. I wonder what the mechanics of the other ones are gonna be, because we can only see the mechanics of the Lulu and the Thrain right here. But I wonder if that 3 unit is going to come into play a little bit more when we see what the other units Second Awaken into. That's very interesting. It reminds me a little bit of like the Beast Riders, how it's the like, oh, hold on now, this is going to be some OP stuff. In that it is more than 1 unit on the, like the Beast Rider has the Beast and the Rider. I was like the Beast and the, no, it's the other way around. The Beast and the Rider, right? So these, maybe there's some gameplay mechanics where this actually comes into play, where like the 3 units actually matter on the battlefield instead of just being a visual thing, right? So Grim Reaper looks awesome. Of course, we've known that it was gonna be that, though. That was like the obvious one, right? 2A monsters not only get their appearance upgraded, but also their skills and their base stats. Another big thing, base stats upgraded. Right? Because we always think about the skills and the appearance, but we don't really think too much about the base stats. And that's one of the reasons that some units that are not quite meta enough become more meta, because their stats just improve enough, like especially like their defense, right? Defense, HP, attack. So Lulu is basically, for the most part, very similar. There is the first skill looks the same. Second skill is removes harmful effects on target ally, recovers both your HP by 20%. This one is also grants immunity for 1 turn and recovers your HP by 25% each. So a little bit more HP and immunity, right? Third skill is removes all harmful effects of all allies, and so it was 2 harmful effects, and now it's all harmful effects of all allies. Recovers the HP of the allies by 25% each. Grants immunity on the allies who had no harmful effects for 2 turns. So it's a 5% more heal, and it's remove all harmful effects on the all allies, not just 2, right? Maybe some people didn't know it was 2. Maybe some because sometimes you don't have a whole bunch of harmful effects on you to begin with, right? So that's that for that. Lulu was one of the better Howls, though. She was like the more usable Howl. So it's going to be very interesting to see. I'm more interested to see like how the wind one fares, how the fire one fares, because nobody uses that stuff, right? So I'm very interested to see which ones actually get done there, right? Or what their skills happen to be, because those ones are going to get the bigger buffs. So this is just like the tip of the iceberg. See the water one. The other ones are going to get the bigger buffs. So we see the Grim Scythe. Is the same thing actually, the Grim Scythe. Plague, so the difference in Plague with the second skill of the Dark Grim Reaper is you instantly gain another turn after using this skill. I don't know if they're going to do the same thing with the water one or well actually the fire one isn't different. His continuous damage is his third skill, but the water one also has Plague, so I'm not sure if they're going to do the same thing for the water one, but instantly gains another turn after using the skill. So you can do the continuous damage, and then you can get the Doomsday after that. Meteorites of Doomsday fall on the enemies, inflict damage, increases with time, stuns the target for 1 turn, recovers your attack bar by 20% each of the enemies under continuous damage. So you do the dots, you instantly get another turn, you do the stuns, increase your attack gauge. So it's turn cycling a decent amount there, right? Turn cycling a decent amount. It kind of reminds me, think about Doomsday a little bit like a budget Okeanos, based on the fact that he AoE stuns. It's not quite as good, it's random, right? It's not quite as good, and they need continuous damage, but it is kind of like a budget Okeanos where he stuns and increases his attack gauge with the stuns. So we thought throwing the Dark Grim Reaper could be useful in climbing up Trial of Ascension Hell. I'm sure that's why you actually built him, though. Lulu's showing great potential in Special League and Siege Battle 4-star bases, ready to shine in more diverse contents, right? So we see some more information on the different attributes of the different levels of these dungeons. Then we see the Rune Farming Dungeon, the Dimension KHALDRUN Dimension Dungeon, New Ancient Guardian, right? So we see he's got, looks spooky and powerful. Yes, he looks very spooky. I like the whole theme of I like the whole, it's very metal. So, of course, I like that. Dark attribute and skills that bring out fear will gradually take life of monsters. So here's another thing. There's a new debuff. There's a new debuff being added too. Ancient Strike attacks all enemies, recovers the HP proportion to the damage dealt. This attack ignores all effects that resist death, like Triana, Miho, Garo, etc. Principle of Casualty passive. Attack speed increases when the Ancient Guardian or minions get attacked from the enemies. Increased attack speed resets at the start of each turn. Attack power increases permanently whenever the Ancient Guardian gets a turn. Fantastic. Then Unity of KHALDRUN. Oh, is it like Cauldron? I think it's supposed to be pronounced Cauldron. I just figured that out. Well, the dev note just came out, and it's not like I was thinking about this for like 2 weeks. Yeah, I think that's supposed to be pronounced Cauldron. As a joke. Like Cauldron, like the big pot that witches cook the witch soup in. I think that's actually how that's supposed to be pronounced. Lulz. That comes to us as a sense of humor. Okay, Ancient Guardian and the minions increase the Aura of Death, new debuff, of the enemy proportional to the damage of their attack inflicts. The defeated target cannot be revived during the battle. In addition, the HP recovery amount of the enemy will be decreased by 25% per alive minion. Did you notice the new face, Aura of Death, from the skill descriptions? Aura of Death will be added to the battle against the Ancient Guardian. I feel like maybe it's going to be added to more than just this, though. And they're just saying, like, this is going to be added here, but potentially added to more stuff than just this. Because it'd be much more fun to add it to instead of just this. Looks cool, though. The boss looks cool. So, Aura of Death is an effect that increases in proportion to the amount of damage you receive from the Ancient Guardian and minions. The amount of damage inflicted to enemies decrease, and the amount of damage inflicted to enemies decrease, and the amount of damage received from enemies increase depending on the degree of Aura of Death. The Aura of Death can be reduced through HP recovery. So I think this could be an interesting mechanic for the Grim Reapers. Some of the Grim Reapers after their second awakened to to actually get. And you can see when the Aura of Death is piled up, it's the right next to the continuous damage on the dark, the dark light homunculus. It looks like a dark homunculus in the visually, but the skills of a light homunculus. Lols. Or maybe that's the Aura of Death on there, with like the little dark, dark thing surrounding it. Anyway, then we see the summoned monsters in the different phases, right? And then we see a little bit more on Power of Death for phase 1 with the Grim Reaper and the Howl. Continues damage for 3 turns with each attack and gains a turn instantly if the enemy dies. In addition, recovers the HP by 20% when the turn ends. I feel like you have to be aggressive in this dungeon because it's got death prevention and you can't revive anything. So yeah, but I mean you got to be aggressive in most dungeons in this game anyway. So this is also controversial. Lastly, we'll talk about the rewards you'll be getting when you clear the battle against the Ancient Guardian. Summoners can get the following items as battle rewards for clearing Cauldron Dimension Dungeon. Random among Ancient Rune, Ancient Grindstone, Ancient Gem, set Swift. Swift runes. Ancient Swift runes are here. I believe they actually said they weren't going to do Ancient Swift runes or Ancient Violent runes. So now we see some Ancient Swift runes, which it's only a matter of time before we see Ancient Violent runes in the next one. That last dimension is going to be, I feel like it's going to be Ancient Violent runes. Dear God, help us all. That's all I'm saying. Dear God, help us all. So, this is, now you need to farm this. This is something you need to farm. If you are trying to do cleave teams for arena offense, speed meta, Swift. This is going to be a second awaken, whatever you want, a second awaken, and then you have to farm the Swift runes from this dungeon, right? If you are speed chasing, and you're maybe behind, you don't have those crazy efficient speed runes, then this is going to be at ancient speed runes, right? So yeah, so now everyone's gonna have runes like Foxy. I'm sorry, Foxy. I'm sorry, Foxy. Everyone's gonna have runes like you now, as long as they're farming this dungeon. So of course, rune drops are rune drops and rolls are rolls, but kind of glad that I have so many ancient rune reaps still stored up right now. Just sitting there. But anyway, very fun, very exciting. I think there's gonna be a controversial stuff going on with this. These ancient Swift runes, because they said they weren't going to do it, and now they kind of changed their mind. But very exciting. Just wanted to have a discussion with you about all this stuff. And I like the new debuff, right? I'm excited for the Howls. I think they needed the most, more than the Mystic Witches. I'm sorry for the people that really wanted the Mystic Witches, but I'm excited to see what these Howls are going to do, because finally these Howls are going to be actually usable, which is going to be fun, and they look adorable as well. And then the new debuff. I'm excited to see what the new debuff, if some of these other Grim Reapers are going to actually get this new debuff as well. Anyway, the Aura of Death, right? Anyway, that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you're as excited as I am. I think the ancient, I don't know. I feel like the ancient Swift runes is going to be, it's going to be okay. It's not going to be as bad as maybe we think it's going to be. Like, you know, just sucks for people that have been farming their brains out. I've been farming my brains out for Swift runes for the past 6 years. Anyway, that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I will see you as always. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I will see you as always in the next one. Very excited for the new Second Awakens.